Hi, my name's Lori Mertz, and I am the author of the book Successful Surgery and Healing, a practical guide for patients, caregivers, and advocates. And today I am making this video because yesterday I had a hemorrhoidectomy and I was terrified. I've had a lot of surgery in the past, and for some reason this really had me going sideways. So I thought, what better time than this to move forward my purpose, I guess, of helping others where I can have a successful surgery. The first thing I'll say is that I've been really lucky. My hemorrhoid surgery, my hemorrhoidectomy, is not as serious as many people's. So I was really lucky in that respect. But there's some really cool things that I did before to get ready, and there's some things that I'm doing after that might be really helpful to others interested in having an easier experience. So that's what I'm here to share about. One of the things that makes me slightly unique, like about 50% of the population, is that I'm single. I'm not married. I'm not divorced. I don't have a boyfriend. I have a super cute dog. Say hi to Annabelle. She's a really good pal. But having surgery when you're single and live alone is slightly different than someone going through the process who has somebody that lives with them. So everything that I undergo and go through to get ready for me can feel a little bit more overwhelming and takes a little bit more work because, for example, I don't have somebody who at a moment's notice can run out and pick up another prescription or grab me some more milk or do little quick errands that I might need. I have amazing, kind, generous friends that are willing to do those things for me, and it's harder to ask. And they always help, and they always do it with a smile, and I know that I do it for them, so I know it's a good thing to do for others, give and take. But getting ready for the surgery, I had to think ahead a little bit differently. So some of the things that I did was I cleaned my house really spotless, which meant there's still dust around. It's not perfect by any stretch. But what I made an effort to do was clear off the surfaces, get little projects done that I thought would really annoy me if they weren't done, and try and create little areas where I had everything that I needed. For example, by my bed, I made sure I had chapstick and extra water. And instead of just a bottle of water, since I knew I might likely not be able to sit, I got the kind of bottles that have a little squirt thing at the top. Here's an example. This happens to be electrolyte water, but this little thing at the top makes it really easy to drink from when you're laying down. So I got a bunch of those. I made sure that I had notepads and pens in these little areas by my bed so that if something came up that I wanted to remember, I could write it down and I didn't have to get up. I made sure that I had my phone and I have a charger so that when the phone dies, I can plug it in and reboost it. I like to do Sudoku, so I had a couple little puzzles, have a couple little books, and then of course on my phone I can watch Netflix, which is kind of nice. Anyway, so I set that up in my bedroom. In my living room, I have a day bed where I can lay down, and I set up something similar so that I could just rest and not have to be getting up and down, because I thought that might be harder to do. One of the most important things, I think, is diet. I ate a really clean, pure diet. The thing that I found was important was to make sure that my kitchen was stocked with foods that I knew would go through me. Having anal surgery, if that's what you want to call it, you're not going to want to eat a lot of steak or things that could possibly constipate you and be harder to come out. So I made a bunch of soups. I made zucchini soup. I made mushroom soup. I bought some broths. There's this great broth that I really like, miso ginger broth. I got it at Trader Joe's. And I have some chicken broth and stuff like that. So brothy things are really, really good. I stocked up on smoothie products. I do a lot of smoothies. In my particular smoothies, I put frozen fruit. For this, I used pineapple. Pineapple has some anti-inflammatory qualities, and it doesn't have a lot of seeds. So I would put pineapple. I would put some ginger, fresh ginger sliced in. Ginger can be really good for nausea, which can be helpful if you're taking pain meds and they make you nauseous, or sometimes pain can just make you nauseous. So, and I just like ginger. So I put that in there. I found a really good whey protein powder. I use vanilla. I also like to add Synergy Company Pure Radiance Vitamin C powder. Has no flavor, really, really good for you. And I add a green powder, also from Synergy, which I think is a fantastic company. And I also use coconut milk, which is really high in fat and really, really good for you. And I add fish oil. I like Nordic Naturals. Comes in a blue bottle. You can get it at Natural Grocers for a really reasonable price. And then I add water. If I want it a little sweeter, I add a little Sprite. Or you could add kombucha drinks if you like those. It's something that you get to play with. I'm told by my kids and my grandkids that I make the best smoothies in the world. So I actually add chia seeds. Chia seeds have protein, and they're good. They just kind of fill you up. I think they're a good food. I add them. It's for some, not for all. And you can buy them organic in big bags at Costco for really, really great price. So that's what goes in the smoothies. I'm actually just finishing one now. Other items you can find in my kitchen. I am a big fan of avocados. I put avocados in salad. I put them in smoothies, which sounds really crazy, but it makes them so creamy. You don't taste it, it just makes them creamy. I dare you to try it someday just for fun. So I got a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm a fan of blueberries, obviously avocados. I did pick up a bunch of, I have some lettuce because I like to make salads. I love hemp seeds on my salads. They add essential fatty acids and are really good for you. I always use Bragg's organic apple cider vinegar. That's a favorite of mine. And then some organic olive oil. Haven't had a salad yet. Trying to kind of stick with the liquid diet stuff. I also happen to have a big thing for ice cream. I love chocolate chip Haagen-Dazs. So that's my big cheat food. And whenever I'm feeling blue or, well, even when I'm feeling happy, I eat it. So my freezer is stocked with Haagen-Dazs, which I always get on sale and then always have coupons for. So I don't often pay retail, but that is my guilty pleasure. I also have stuff for scrambled eggs. Those, again, lots of good protein, super soft. I like to put a little cheese in them. Last night I had noodles with butter. It's kind of a comfort food, but noodles they're just a carb. I don't eat a lot of carbs, but they break down easy in your system. And the nurse at the surgical center was saying that sometimes pasta can be a good thing to eat as long as it's not too much. everything in moderation, right? And then I keep hydrating. Fluids is huge after any surgery, especially if you happen to be taking pain medications, which can be really constipating, which with this surgery in particular, you really want to avoid. So I guess the next fun topic I get to talk about is constipation, how to avoid it. I have some really serious ideas about it, actually. Huge topic for anyone having surgery, sort of in life, but especially anyone having hemorrhoid surgery. You want to avoid it. The thing about constipation is it's so much easier to manage and treat before you get it. So I think it's a safe assumption to assume that everybody might struggle with it. But if you're really prepared, I think there's ways to avoid it and at the very, or at least lessen it a great deal. So what I did, and I am not a doctor, I did this on my own, but it's something that I feel really strongly about. I started about 5 days before I knew I was having this surgery, really thinking about how I was going to keep my system moving. One product that I really like that's totally natural is Rainbow Light Magnesium Calcium Plus. Here's what it looks like. You can get it at natural grocers or online. The thing about this product in particular is it has a really high dose of magnesium. So for example, it has 1,000 milligrams of magnesium in every 3 tablets. Magnesium will give you the runs if you take too much, which is kind of the idea, at least for me for this. So I started taking this. I was taking 2 at night. It's also a very calming product. So when I get kind of anxious and nervous, it's good to be calm. So I was taking 2 at night and 1 in the morning. And it definitely had the desired effect of making my bowel movements more runny. And then I also, the night before my surgery, not only did I take this, but I also took a couple of stool softeners because I'm really scared about being in a lot of pain, having a bowel movement, I'll be honest. So I did that. And then the morning of the surgery, when they say you can take your medications with a sip of water, I did. I took a couple of medications I take with a sip of water, but I also took one of these, and I also took a stool softener, just as preventative, because I'm all about trying to not get stuck up in that area. In my book, on page 51, I have a whole chapter about constipation. And here's some really great advice that I'd love to share with you. Like I said, prevention is the best medicine with constipation, no question. And it can get really serious if it's untreated, but right now we're treating it. So the other things, so in addition to having surgery around the anus, which you don't want to be stretching out because it'll be very painful and very sad. Some of the other things that can cause constipation in addition to pain meds is anesthesia, causes constipation. Plus, you're going to be inactive, that causes constipation or can worsen constipation. And not eating or drinking as much because you don't feel that great also. And then your diet, which is why you heard me talk about the fact that I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits, stay away from canned foods, eat smoothies, things like that. So everyone talks about the things you can take for constipation. It's really important the order in which you attack constipation if you have it. So the kinds of medications that are out there, one, some of them soften the stool softeners. Some of them act as a bulking agent, like Metamucil, and it helps absorb water and, can make a stool easier to pass. And then there are things that stimulate the colon, laxatives, like Senna. It's really important, and a doctor that I have worked very close with for years, he also feels very strongly about this. There's a really important order in which you take things to alleviate constipation. So, number one, drink a ton of water. Loosen it up. That's great. The other thing that's really, really important, and you heard me talk about it, is you want to keep everything really well lubricated. So when you talk about lubricating, that means eating lots of healthy fats. So you heard me talk about coconut oil, you heard me talk about avocado, you heard me talk about fish oil. These are all really things. Other things that you can find healthy fats in are eggs, olive oil, coconut milk. You can find it in nuts and seeds, but not the right thing to eat right now because you want to keep things smooth. So that would be the second thing. Hydrate, lubricate. The third thing is you want to encourage peristalsis, which means relaxing the lines of the walls of the colon and keeping things moving. That's where the magnesium comes in. Magnesium helps relax the muscles lining the walls of the colon, resulting in smoother, rhythmic contractions which move stools through the colon. And they also attract water into the colon, making them really soft. So that's why I'm big on magnesium. The third thing, and until you get things moving, you don't want to start introducing these last two things. The third thing you would do is, once you're moving, is increase fiber. Fiber is the part of the plant material that we can't digest, and it adds bulk and softens stools. Great. But adding fiber to a stool that is already hard and stuck is the wrong direction. That's why you want to wait and make sure you've got things moving. Adding fiber will help you keep things moving. So try the first three first, then add the fiber. Then, as a very last result, I would talk about laxatives. You can get some with good ingredients, some with bad ingredients. There's all kinds of products out there, and it's a ton of reading of labels, but I think it's really, really valuable and helpful if you can do it and you have the time and the patience. But those are the things I would do to help with constipation. The other things you can do is, eating in the morning can stimulate the bowels, sometimes a little cup of coffee. You know your body better than anyone. But for me, for this surgery, for this video, avoiding constipation on the front end, if I can, was really important to me. So this morning, because we're sharing here, I did have my first bowel movement, and it wasn't the best. It definitely hurt, but it wasn't the worst thing ever that had me screaming and yelling and on the floor, which is what I wanted to avoid. So I'm really, really, really happy. So what I'm doing is working. Between the foods and the liquids and the supplements and being patient, I'm winning. And that's what I want. I want to win, and I want everyone to win. So that's the constipation talk. Works for any surgery, critical for this surgery. And the thing that I found was a lot of doctors didn't really talk about it that much. And that was the hardest thing, is as many questions as I asked to get ready for this surgery, because I was so scared, I just didn't get a lot of information. And I'm super good with a list. Give me a list, tell me what to do, I will be on it. But I couldn't get that information as hard as I pulled. And I'm really good at extracting information from people and asking questions and doing that sort of thing. So that was the thing that I found to be the hardest. The people were all really nice, but it just didn't have to be that hard. Like, give me a one-page thing that says, go out and buy these products. And maybe they can't do it for insurance or legal reasons. I don't know, and that makes me bananas. But that's why I wrote my book. That's why I'm doing this video, and that's why I've got other books in the works. Thus ends the talk on constipation. So I think that's all I have to say on this right now. I had the surgery yesterday morning at 8 o'clock. It is 1:30 the following day, and I'm feeling like it's time for a nap. Sleep is really critical when healing. When you hit level 4 deep sleep is when your body releases the restorative growth hormone it needs for healing. So I'm big for a lot of sleep and naps. And I'm really lucky I kind of carved out this time so that I could take my time and not feel like I had to do anything. But I was inspired to do these videos, so I did that. I'll follow up as the week goes on. I'm hoping that it still stays this good. And if it doesn't, I'll report back and I'll see what I can do to mediate pain and suffering. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful. Feel free to ask questions. I'll do my best to answer. I have a Facebook page dedicated to successful surgery. You can always find me there, ask questions, see interesting posts. Anyway, have a great day. Thank you again. And to your healing. Bye.